Oh no. Just when I got used to solving quadratic equations like this, where the answer equals 0 and I can just use the null factor law, bam! We get ones where there is stuff on both sides. Ugh, that's okay. We can figure that out because we have this problem that is hard, a hard mathematical problem, but we can convert it into one that we already know how to solve. This is most of what mathematicians they do. They take a hard problem and convert it into one that's equivalent that they know how to solve. So, my advice is get everything to the left. That's it. Just get everything to the left-hand side. Everything. This term here, already on the left-hand side. Fantastic. This term here, already on the left-hand side. This one here, it's on the right-hand side. This positive x term, yes, there's no sign there, so it's positive. It's on the right-hand side. I want it to be on the left-hand side. So we will move that term to the left-hand side. The term was positive, now it will be negative. Do you notice that because this was an x term, I put it in the middle? Yeah, because we've been writing, just a reminder, our quadratic equations with the x squared term, and then the x term, and then the constant term. So let's do that to be consistent. That's why I put the x term in the middle. Anyway, so now it's moved to the other side. There's nothing left on this side now. This side is just 0. Good. Another way of thinking of it is I've subtracted x from both sides. So now we want to solve this. There is something that makes this a little bit trickier, which is what's the coefficient of x here? Well, you can just imagine a 1. If there's no coefficient, just imagine a little 1 before it. So the coefficient here is -1, and the product is -6. So we're looking for two numbers that have a product of -1, a sum of -1 and a product of -6. I will speed through the process, but again, go back if you're not sure about that. So the two numbers happen to be -3 and +2. These two numbers, you add them together, you get -1. You multiply them, you get -6. Now, just as we did before, we can solve these two equations. Good. That's a speedy version of that. Let's try this one. This one looks more complicated and therefore more fun. It also doesn't look like a quadratic equation, does it? Because we're not used to seeing it already factorized like this. So because we've already got brackets here, to get it to look like this with everything on the left equaling 0, I'm going to expand the brackets. X times x is x squared. X times +4 is +4x. And that equals 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times -1 is -5. Now I can move these two terms to the left-hand side. So I'll get something that looks a bit more like this. Do you remember what I said? Mathematicians like to take complicated, hard problems and solve them by converting them to easy problems that they can solve. So these two terms are already in the right place. I'll leave those there. But that 10x, positive 10x, will move to the other side and turn into -10x. And this -5 term will move to the other side and turn into +5. And that equals 0. So, therefore, I've got my x squared. This +4x and this -10x, they're both x terms. So I can collect like terms here. +4 take 10 is -6. So I've got -6 lots of x. Plus 5 equals 0. Because I haven't messed with the other stuff, so I'm just going to copy it down. Now we can solve it the same kind of way, looking for two numbers that have a sum of -6 and a product of +5. -3, -2, that does not do the job. That does not do the job. I reckon -1 and -5. That will do the job. The sum is -6. You multiply them together, you get +5. Bada bing, bada boom. So therefore, null factor law, I apologize. I'm going to do this by hand because I made a little bit of a boo-boo on the slides. That's okay. So x minus 1 equals 0. Or the alternative is maybe x minus 5 equals 0. This equation has 2 solutions. How fun. How wacky. Whee! Okay, so therefore, there we go. The -1, -1 moves to the other side, becomes +1. So x is 0 plus 1, which is 1. Or, solve this other equation now. -5 becomes +5. X is 0 plus 5. So x is +5. I'm not going to do this now because I'm worried that the video will go on for too long if I do. But sure enough, you could put either of those numbers in that equation and it would be true. Yeah, it has 2 solutions. I'll just really quickly talk you through it. If x is 5, x plus 4 is 9. So this is 5 times 9, which is 45. Cool. The other side would be 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. 5 times 9 is 45. So yes, you could do either of these. Put them back in and check it if you want to and see that the answer is correct. You don't just have to trust me. You can check for yourself. Because you're clever. You can do this. All right. Bye, everyone.